Hey, what's up? Welcome back to a new video. This one is paper 1-1 of October-November 2022. Obviously, this is paper 1, so we can't use a calculator. Right, so let's move on to questions. So here we have question number 1. So let's see what happens. So part 1a, the temperature was -2. Okay. The temperature was decreased by 8 degrees. So from -2, we have to -8 decrease. So -2 minus 8, that should be -10. Right, makes sense. Now for part B, on another day the temperature increases from -5 to 3. Now again, in this kind of question, you can always draw a number line to see what's happening. For example, this is my number line. Let me say this is my value of -5. Now where's 3? 3 will be on the right side, obviously, right? Now we do understand from minus we have a 0 here somewhere in the middle. So from here to go to here, we have to add what? +5. And from here to here, we have to +3. So in total, we have to increase by +8. The increase in temperature will be 8 degrees Celsius. Okay, so that will be part 1 of your question. Now for part 2, we have to find 45% of 1.2. Well, let's find out. So what is 45%? So another way of writing this, that will be 45 divided by 100 times 1.20. Now obviously we can simplify. We can try to rewrite this if you want to. Again, we can try. I don't know, 45 or 100. Let's multiply. So what is 1.2? 1.2 is 120 divided by 100. We'll see if that's useful or not. It may be useful, it may not be useful, but we'll see what happens, right? So let's see what can be done. So here we have this one, this will go away, right? And then here we can divide by 2, you will have 6. Have 5, divide by 5, you have 1. And this will be 9. So 9 times 6 will be 54 over 100. And that should give you 0.54. Well, hopefully that makes sense. So this is one way of doing the question. That'll be $0.54. 45% of $1.2. Now for part 3, we have to write this fraction in order of size from smallest to largest in ascending order. Now I think here we have one issue, is that we cannot compare them directly with each other because the base are different. So here we have 12, 5, 30 and 15. So here what can we do? So we have to first find a common denominator for everyone. So to what can we change these so that we can compare them easily? So by observation, we realize that these are all factors of what? Of 60, right? So let's change that to 60. So how can you change 12 to 60? Multiply by 5, multiply by 5. That will be 55 over 60. Multiply by 12. Multiply by 12, that will be 48 over 60. Multiply by 2, that should be 54 over 60. Multiply by 4, so 13 times this will be, 3 times 4 is 12, that should be 5, and that should be 60. So now, since the base are all the same, we can compare the top easily. So which one is the smallest? This one, which is 4 over 5, right? Next one will be this one, which is 13 over 15. And then we have this one, which is 27 over 30. And then last one will be 11 over 12. Okay, that will be the largest one, actually. That is your question number 3. Okay, so here we have what? Let's see. So here we have the rest of question number 4. We have what? North, bearing. So bearing question. So important question here is we have information. We have 1 centimeters is 30 meters. It's a scale we have to use for the rest of the question. Now the diagram shows the position of 2 ships, A and B. Okay. Now we have to find the measurement. By measurement, the actual distance of B from A. Again, my answer may be different because of my printing scale. It may not be as the one on the exams, so it could be different, but the method will be the same for both, right? For solving this, we just have to measure the distance AB. So go to A and then measure till B from what I can see, it shows to be what? 4.5, 4.6, 4.7. According to me, it shows to be 4.7 centimeters. According to my drawing, my graph, or my plot, right? So now I have to find the actual distance. We have to use a scale. We know that 1 centimeter is 30. So 4.7 will be what? Will be 4.7 times 30. That will be 0 here. That will be 21. 12 plus 2, that should be 14. Because here we have 1 decimal place, that will be 1 decimal place, so your value will be 141 meters. Okay, so that will be our question part A. Now for part B, we have to find the bearing of B from A. Again, measure, we have to use our tools, which is this thing over here. Now we first have to know what are we trying to measure. So measure the bearing of B from A. So B from A, perfect, from this position. We just have to find this angle. So from this point A, let's see what can we read. It will be around here, which is, we have to find this angle here. So that will be 0, 10, 100, 120. It seems to be 125. According to what I can see, it's 125 on my tool. So 125 according to my drawing. Now for 2 marks, we have what? A third chip is positioned at C. We don't know where it is yet. C is on the bearing of 164 from A. Again, from A, very important. And on a bearing of 252 from B. So one by one, first let's draw this. What is the bearing from C? Sorry, from A of C. 164 from A. So go back to A. Now we have to measure 164. This is 100. That will be 150. I bet you cannot see clearly. Apologies about that. But you get the idea. We have to measure one by one. So that will be 160, 164 for me will be about in this position. So I'll join these two just to kind of know where it lies. It should be lying on this line, for example. Now next one. So basically I measure this angle, have to give me 164 according to the question. Now the next one, it tells me the bearing of the point C from B is 252. So pretty easy. From B. So the angle here has to be 252. But I do know this is what? This is 180. So what is the rest? So we take 252 minus 180, that should be 2 here. That should be 7. So we have to measure 72 for the rest over here. So how do you do that? Pretty easy as well. Go back to your diagram, use your tool, make sure that it is aligned properly, and then we have to measure 72. So this is 0. Again, you just have to read off the scale here. 72 for me shows to be about this point. Now I just have to join these two. Now whenever the two lines meet, it will show me the position for C. Okay, so obviously you'll be using a pencil for drawing, because what if you're wrong? How would you erase that, right? So that will be part C of your question, number 4. Now let's move on to question number 5. So we have to write this one correct to 2 decimal place. So 2 decimal place, so we have 1, 2, and then we'll look at the last one. We ask ourselves, is 8 more or equal to 5? It is. 8 is more equal to 5, so we have to add 1 to this one. 24 plus 1 will be 25. That will be 306.25. Now for this one, correct to 2SF, so we have 306.248. 2SF, leave the first 2 by itself. Ask if this one is more or equal to 5. The answer is yes, 6 is more than 5. So we have to add 1 to the first 2. That should become 31, and the rest will become 0. Or you can just write 310 as your answer as well, correct to 2SF. Now for part B, we have to do what? We have to write each number correct to 1SF, and then estimate the value of this one. So one by one, So here we have 9.37. So 1SF, leave the first one by itself, as if this one is more or equal to 5. The answer is no, so the first one remains the same and the rest becomes 0. How about this one? Here we have 1046. 1SF, leave the first one by itself and ask if this one is more or equal to 5. The answer is no, so 1 and the rest become 0. To replace, you will have 9 square minus cubic root of 1000. That will be 81 minus 10, because we know that 1000 is actually 10 power 3, so cubic root of this will become just 10. So simplify 81, that will be 71. 71 will be your answer for question number 5C. Now let's move on to the next one, which is question number 6. So we have to write this as a power of 4, so pretty easy. Let's count. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So B becomes 4 power 5, right? Simplify, so it's simple as well. So here we have root 5 power 2. So we have to understand that root really means power of half. So we have 5 power, this becomes power half, and then power 2. So half times 2 will become 1. So this will be 5 power 1, and you have 5 as your answer. Now for this one, we'll just have to distribute it. So we have 2 power 4, and x, 3 times 4 is 12. Now this we can always simplify. So 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, that will be 16, right? Because we can always write this down to make our life easier as well. So we have 4 here, we have 4 here, that'll be 16, and that'll be x power 12. Simplify question number 6. Let's move on to question number 7. So here we have to work out this fraction. Again, subtraction, addition are done the same way. What do we look at first? We always look at the base. We try to make them become the same. So here they are different, so we can make 4 become 8 by multiplying by 2. Of course, we have to multiply the top as well by 2, because we don't want to change the fraction in itself. Now the base are the same. We can write 8 here. Here we have 7. Here we have minus. 3 times 2 will be 6. That will be 1 over 8 as your answer. Or we can always use the usual method. Again, you can skip that part if you guys know already, which is what? 7 over 8 minus 3 over 4. We can have what? We can cross multiply and multiply by each other. So cross multiply. This time this will be 28 minus cross multiply 24, and this time this will be 32. So that will be 4 over 32 divided by 2. That will be 16 divided by 2. That should be 8. As you can see, both will give you the same answer for question part A. Now for part B, we have to work out this. Again, as you can see here, we have division. For fraction, we always try to change the division to multiplication. But first, let's simplify. How do you expand this? So 1 times 5, 5, then plus 3, that will become 8. So this is the same thing as saying this is 8 over 5. If you were to simplify this, it will give you back this one. You expand this, it will give you this. Divide by 4 over 7. Now obviously, it is hard to work with division. We have to change that to multiply. That will be 8 over 5 on this side. Multiply. So once you change that to multiply, we have to flip this one upside down, right? You have this. Now simplify. This will become 1. This will become 2. That'll be 14 over 5. Now obviously we have to simplify this into a mixed number. So we do understand that in 14, how many 5s we have in 14? Okay, 5 times 2 is 10, 5 times 3 is 15, 15 is more than 14, so we don't have 3 times, we only have 2 times. So 2 times 5 is 10, 14 minus 10 will be 4, and that will be over 5. So your answer will be 2. And then 4/5 for question part B. Now let's move on to question number 8. So here we have to factorize this one. So again, just by observation, right? So here, what is that? It is 3a times a plus, what is 12? 12 is 3 times 4. Well, let me write a here first, and then times 4. But as you can see, since these two are the same, we can factorize them outside, and the rest will be a plus 4 remaining. So this is the factorization of part 8. Let's move on to question number 9. So in this Venn diagram, we have to shade the region A intersecting B. So pretty simple. A meeting B will be this one. Of course, use a pencil, right? Now for part B, this Venn diagram shows information about the number of students who study English and Spanish and German. Okay, cool. Part 1. We have to find the number of students who study English and German but not Spanish. So English and German but not Spanish. So everything outside of this one. Okay, so N will have to be in the middle, right? So N, both language, have to be in the middle, but not Spanish, only 5. If that makes sense. So English and German will be this one, this right here, but not Spanish, so we don't include this, we can only have this one. Now for the last one, we have the number of G union S prime. So G union S prime will be outside of that, will be 11, and 4, that should be 15, right? If that makes sense. If you shade the sets, you will understand what's happening. So we have G, the whole thing, union S, we have these two completely. Prime means outside of that, so outside of that will be everything else except those ones. So this and this, that will be 50. Now let's move on to question number 10. So here we have to write this in standard form, so we just have to count. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 3.2 times 10 power 8. Now this one, again, we just have to try to simplify. So here we have 2 over 4 multiplied by 10 power minus 3 over 10 power 9. Simplify, this will give you what? 0.5, do you agree? 2 over 4 is 0.5. It is half, right? Now this one will give you minus 3. So divide is minus. This will give you 9. 0.5 times 10 power minus 12. Now obviously in standard form we have to move this over here. Now it'll become 5 times 10 power minus 13. That'll be part B of your question. Now 11. So we have to write this as a product of its prime factor. So 1 by 1 divided by 2, that should be 60, divided by 2, that should be 30, divided by 2, that should be 15, divided by 3, that should be 5. So 2 power 3 times 3 times 5 will be the product of its prime factor. Now for part B, we have 315 is equal to this one right here. Use this information to find the smallest value of n, so value of n such that this is a square number. So by what value n we have to multiply this to give you a square number. Now we do have to understand something. What is a square number? So usually we know a square number is 1, 4, 9, 16. What is special about them is we do know that 1 is also what? Is also 1 square, 4 is 2 square, 9 is 3 square, and this is 4 square. As you can see, the square here is important, right? To be a square number. For example, here 315, we have 3 square, 5 times 7. So what are we missing? We're missing the square. How can we change that to square? By multiplying by 5 and multiplying by 7. So this will be your n, and that will be 35. Because if you multiply these number by these two, you will have 3 square times 5 square and 7 square. And since all are square, there will be a square number eventually. So that's the idea behind this question. Alright, let's move on to question number 12. We have to expand and simplify, so expand. That will be 3 times 2, 6, plus 3 times 1 is 3. Minus is very important here. That will be 8x minus 6. So this minus this will be minus 2x. 3 minus 6 will be minus 3. Now for part B, expand again. So how would you do this? Take the first one, x, multiply by the other one. Here we have plus 5, and then multiplied by the other one. So 1 by 1, that will be x squared minus 3x plus 5x minus 15. That will be x squared plus 2x minus 15. Now 13, the nth term of a sequence is given to you by this. This is the nth term, so Tn is given to you by this equation. Find the first three terms of this sequence, so pretty easy. When n is equal to 1, 2, and 3. Let's find the corresponding value. So when n is equal to 1, so 1 squared is 1, 3 times 1 is 3, 3 minus 1 is 2, so 2. When n is equal to 2, n squared is 4, 3 times 4 is 12, 12 minus 1 is 11. When n is equal to 3, 3 squared is 9, 3 times 9 is 27, 27 minus 1 is 26. So this is the first three terms of the sequence. Again, you can always write all these values down one by one and find the value as well. So it's not magic, right? It's not magic. Now for part B, these are the first five terms of a sequence. The first five terms. Now we have to find an expression in terms of n for the nth term of this sequence. Well, we can do this by observation, obviously, which is the main way of doing that. So the first five terms, so we understand this is the first term, second term, third term, fourth term, fifth. Now what would you say is the sixth term? So by observation you can see here we have what? 1, 3, 9, 27, 81. It seems that they are all multiple of 3 or powers of 3, right? If you can deduce this by observation, that is what? What is 1? 1 is 3 power 0. What is 3? 3 power 1. What is 9? 3 power 2. 27, 3 power 3, 3 power 4. As you can see, there's a sequence, there's a resemblance with the previous terms. So from that I can deduce this will be 3 power, this was 4, this will be 5, and the rest will be 3 power 6. But now as you can see, in relative to the term itself, you can see that the first term is 3 power 0, the second term is 3 power 1, third term is power 2, so which means that the power is always 1 less than the term. So what if we had, will be 7, what if we have 8? It will be 1 less than the term. So if you have n, that should be 3 and minus 1. Okay, again, this is done by observation. We can deduce step by step. In this case, n minus 1. That is your question number 13. Let's move on to 14 here. What do we have? We have a circle, A, so we have B, C, D are points on the circumference. Again, you have to be careful when they tell you this because there's a reason why they tell you these points are on the circumference. So B, C, and D, they touches the circle, good. And O is a center, that's very important as well. So we understand that BD is the diameter of this shape of the circle. Now AB is a tangent, so AB is a tangent. So now we know that AB, if it touches the circle and this point touches the center, this will have to give you 90 degrees. So something we have to know, right? And also here we have to know is that if BD is a diameter, we understand that the angle over the diameter have to be also 90. If that touches the circle as well, by forming a triangle, it's always going to be a right angle triangle. So these are the properties we have to know. You can learn this by heart if you want to, but it will always be helpful to know these properties. Now, we have to find an expression in terms of x for each of the following. So write each expression in its simplest form. So first we have to find COB. So COB, we have to find this one. So how would you find this? Pretty easy, using a theory. So we do understand that the angle at center is always twice the angle at the circumference. If this is x, this will be twice, so 2x. Part 1, only one mark, should be pretty easy. Now for part B, we have OAB. OAB, have to find this one. So if this is 2x, we understand that this will be the third angle of a triangle, which is 180. minus 90 minus 2x, which is going to be 90 minus 2x. So 90 minus 2x will be part B of your question. Now for part C, CBO. Find this one. Okay, it's not too bad as well. So we know that triangle BCD is a right angle triangle with this one as x. So obviously this will become 180, third angle of a triangle, minus 90, and minus x, that will be 90 minus x. Last one will be 90 minus x as angle CBO. Again, to do this question, you have to know the properties of the circle. And if you do know that, the rest will be quite easy to solve one by one. Now, question number 15. Okay, so triangle ABC is similar to DEC. So if it is similar, we know exactly it is similar because the question tells you it is similar. If it is similar, we understand that the corresponding sides, they are proportional to each other. That's the main idea behind this question, right? Because they are similar, the corresponding sides will be proportional to each other. So we have AB is 12, BC is 27, CD is 7, and this is 3. Okay, find AC. So we have to find this side. Now, as you can see, AC is a side opposite of this angle. Now, what is the corresponding side on the other one? As you can see, this angle is the same as this one, so the corresponding will have this one. So we can form a fraction. We can write AC over the corresponding side will be 7, should be equal to what? Let's use the other one. So we do understand that this angle here is the same as this one. So this side should be corresponding to this one. So we can form this fraction here. A is equal to 12 over 3. Okay, so now we can simplify and solve. This will be what? 1. This will be 4. Cross multiply, you will have 7 times 4 will be 28. So AC will be the value of 28 by using similarity. Now for part B, given that the triangle ABC is 160 centimeters square, so this one is 160. So we have to find the area of triangle DEC, the small one. So using similarity again, we just have to basically find the ratio. As we have seen here, the side of, let's use corresponding sides. So the ratio of sides D to its corresponding side AB, we have seen that the ratio is, this was 3, this was 12, so if you simplify, it will be 1 to 4. This is the ratio of their sides, you agree? Now we want to know the ratio of their area. Now we have to, obviously, for sides it is centimeter, the area will be centimeter square, so we have to square both sides. That will be 1 square will be 1, that will be 16. This is the ratio of the area. Now given to you that the area of the big one is 160, what is the area of this one? So using ratio as well, if 16 represents 160, 1 will be, how can you make 16 become 1? Divide by 16 on both sides, you will have 10. So 1 represents 10. So as per the ratios, as we can see, the area of triangle will be 10 centimeters square. That is question 15. Let's move on to question number 16. So here, what do we have again? So here we have a shape. We have to find the gradient of line L. Again, to find gradient, we can always use 2 points. For example, let's say I use this point and I use this point. First point is, again, you can choose any point you like on the line. It doesn't matter, right? As long as it is on the line, you can use a point. Point here is 0, 1, and this is 2, 5. To find the gradient, I use my formula, which is y2 minus y1. So 5 minus 1 is 4. Over 2 minus 0 will be 2. That should be 2, right? This is my gradient of the line. For part B, the shaded region on the diagram is defined by 3 inequalities. So we have to define those inequalities. Okay. So let's see how could you define this. So one by one we have to first find the equation of this line. So what is the equation of line L? So we have the gradient, we have a passing point, we can use that to find the equation. This is the x value, y value, so y minus 1 over x minus 0 has to equal to the gradient. Again, this is just a method that I use to find the equation. If you have a different method, you can always use your method as well to find the equation of line L. Cross multiply, you will have y minus 1 is 2x, y is equal to 2x plus 1. So line L is that equation, y is equal to 2x plus 1. Now what is the equation of this line? It is a horizontal line, so we can say this will be y is equal to 5. This is a vertical line, which is x is equal to 1. So how would you define this inequality, the region that is shaded? So let's see. So it has to be on the left of this one, below this one, and on the right of this one. Right, so let's write this down. Let me write this on the side actually, because we can see clearly. So first one has to be below this one, so y has to be less 5. Again, the region shaded, we can always use inclusion, because the reason why I'm using equal sign here is because the lines are not dotted. It is not dotted lines, it is not broken lines. I can use equal to, but I don't think it should be penalized as well, because if you don't use that, because the region shaded is usually inside. But anyways, you get the idea. It has to be below this one, on the left of this one, so that should be y 2x plus 1, and on the right of this one, that should be x has to be 1. Okay, so that will be part B of your question. Now for question number 17, the diagram shows the speed time graph of Sam's journey. Again, speed against time graph for Sam's journey. Now part A, we have to calculate the acceleration for the first 2 minutes of Sam's journey. Again, 2 minutes, here we have seconds, so first convert minutes to seconds. That will be first 120 seconds. Right, that will be 120 seconds. Cool. Now we have to find the acceleration. So we understand that given to you is a speed time graph, the acceleration is going to be the gradient of the speed time graph. We have to know this. The gradient of a speed time graph is equal to the acceleration. So now we have from the first this one. Again, how do you find gradient? You can use the two passing point, up to you. You can use this point and this point. So the first point is 0, 0. The second point is 120. This one is 120 and 20. So the gradient will be y2 minus y1 and x2 minus x1. That should be 20 over 120. That should be 1 over what? So this will be 6. So your acceleration will be 1 over 6 meters per second square. Now let's move on to part B of your question. So we have to calculate some average speed. Average speed is given to you by which formula? We have to understand. It is the total distance traveled divided by total time taken. So what is the total distance traveled? Obviously, if you have a speed time graph, distance travel is area on the graph. So we can use a formula here. This is a trapezium, so half times sum of the parallel sides. So here we have 600 plus this one is what? This one is 480 minus 120. So 480 minus 120, that should be 063, which is this value over here, 360. Sum of the parallel sides and times the distance in between, that is 20. So this is the formula of how do you find a area of a trapezium. Again, you can always break it down into pieces: triangle, triangle, and rectangle. Up to you, right? So simplify. This will be 10. You will have 960 times 10, 9600. So your answer here will be, for this one, 9600 for the distance traveled divided by time taken. Time taken will be 600 seconds. Simplify. This will go away. Divide by 2, so 96 over 6 divided by 3, you have 2. That will be 3 and 2 divided by 2, that will be 16. Your answer will be 16 meters per second will be the average speed traveled by Sam. Now let's move on to question number 18. So here what do we have? So we have B is directly proportional to the square of A. Is that right? So B is equal to K, A square. When A is this is the replace. You will have 18 here when K is equal to what? So A will be 3 square. So K was 18 divided by 9, right? That will be 2. So now we know the value of K. Replace back in your main equation. B is equal to 9A square. So now using this equation, find the value here. Find B when A is equal to 5. So B will be 9 times 5 square. 9 times 25. So 5 times 9 will be 45, right? 2 times 9 will be 18 plus 4 will be 22. We can always do it this way if you want to. It's easier for everyone. 9 times this will be 45. That will be 18. 18 plus 4 will be 22. So 225 will be the value of B in this case. Let's move on to question number 19. So here we have what? ABD is an equilateral triangle. C, again, equilateral, we have to understand that all the 3 sides are the same. Right, that's a good thing. We understand that this are the same. Good. Now the C lies on DB, as you can see, such that AC is perpendicular to DB, which means that if that's the case, we understand it cuts, the point C cuts DB exactly in half because it is perpendicular, and we understand that these 3 sides are the same length, right? Same size. Now what do we have to do? We have to show that the triangle ADC, we have ADC, is congruent. Congruent means we have to show it is the same as triangle ABC. There's many ways of showing that, obviously. I guess we can choose the easiest way. Give the reason. So the first reason we can say that we can say what? This one and this one the same. Or you can say, look, if all those 3 sides are the same, we understand what? We understand that all the 3 angles are the same as well. Right. So you can say, well, angle D is the same as angle B. They are equal to 60. Right, so 180 divided by 3, it is 60, which means they are in equilateral triangle. That's the first thing you can write. Number 2, you can write AD same as AB, right? AD same as AB because they are an equilateral triangle. You can write this in full, right? And number 3, we understand that DC is equal to CB. C is midpoint of DB. So by this, by the rule of, by what? By the rule of side, angle, side. So side, angle, side, right? So we understand that this side and this are the same. This angle and this angle are the same, and this side and this side are the same. So through this, we understand that the triangles are congruent. Again, we can always write the explanation in more detail, but this is the main idea by proving those 3 points, and by this SAS theory, which is this same as this same as this, and angle, so side, angle, side, it is congruent. Now let's move on to question number 20. So a farmer records the mass of each of his sheep. Okay. Some of the results are summarized in the table below as shown in the diagram and histogram. Cool. Alright, so here we have the mass and here we have the frequency. So part 1, we have to find the value of A by using the histogram. Okay, so from what you can see here, we have frequency density. So the first question is, how do you find this value? So we understand that frequency density is equal to frequency divided by class width. So how do you find class width? We have to observe. Class width is this value minus this, that will be 5. This minus this will be 10. This minus this will be 5. This minus this will be 10. And this minus this will be the value of 20. right? Now, how do you find the this? We replace. We understand that in these cases they are given to you. So for the first group of 0 to 5, it is 5. So frequency density. So frequency divided by class width, so 5 divided by 5, it is 1. So as you can see, 0 to 5, the height is only 1, so 1. Fair enough. From 5 to 15, so 5 to 15 is right here. The height is what? Frequency density is class width, frequency divided by class width. So 20 divided by 10, that should be 2. So the height is 2. Now using the same logic behind, we can see the height here is 6. So how do you find 6 usually? 6 is equal to frequency, we don't know, divide by the class width. So by cross multiply, A will be equal to 6 times 5, which is 30. Right. Now the rest will be pretty easy. So 40 divided by 10, that should be 4. 20 divided by 20 should be 1. So we just have to complete the rest. Again, use a ruler for this one. I'm going to be using my hand. So 20 to 30, that should be 4 right here. And then 30 to 50, that should be 1. 1 is right here. Okay, so this will be complete the histogram for part B of your question. 21 here we have matrix A and matrix B, as you can see. So here we have to find B. So A to B is equal to this minus A. So 1 minus 3 is minus 2. 5 minus 1 is 4. And then, sorry about that, 10 minus this will be 14. 12 minus 2 will be 10. B will be simply what? Minus 1. And this will become 2. And this will become 7 and 5, right? Divided by 2 everywhere. Now find A inverse, we have to find the adjoint of A. So we have to change sign and change position. So this will become 2 here and 3. Minus 1, 4, right? Change the sign and change the position of those two. Determinant of A, we have to cross multiply, right? So this one, 3 times 2 is 6, minus the other one is minus 4, that should be 10, right? So here we have what? So we have the adjoint matrix 2, 4, minus 1 over 3 divided by determinant. So this will be, of course you can simplify for the rest if you want to. That will be your matrix of A inverse. Now let's move on to part 22, A. So we have to find the value of A and B. Again, we can always use comparison to make our life easier. We can just expand this side. That will be what? X squared plus 2x plus A squared plus B. Expand, that will be x squared plus 2ax plus A squared plus B. And on this side we had x squared minus 6x minus 7 is equal to this one. So as you can see, the coefficient here is, we have x squared, so these are the same, matching, so no problem. Here we have x, here we have x, so here we have minus 6, here we have 2a. We compare. We understand 2a is equal to minus 6, so a will have to be minus 3. So one thing done, a is minus 3. Okay, now for this one, compare. We have a squared plus b is equal to minus 7. So a squared is minus 3 squared will be 9, plus b is minus 7. So b will be minus 7 minus 9, that should be minus 16. So these are the values of a and b from what you can see by comparison. We can always write them in this way. So x, a will be minus 3 squared minus 16. So this will become this, right? Now, hence solve the equation. Hence mean using part 1 to solve the equation. That will be x minus 3 squared minus 16 is equal to 0. So we know this became this. Now we solve this one. So why? Pretty easily. We can send the 16 to the other side. We can then apply the square root on the 16. Will become plus minus square root of 16 will be plus minus the value of 4, right? So x will be plus minus, and then we send the 3 over here and become plus 3. So we will have two possible values for x, so it can come plus 4 plus 3 will be plus 7, minus 4 plus 3 will be minus 1. So these are the values of x. Now let's move on to question number 23. So we have volume of a cone is 1/3 pi r square h given to you, and the curved surface area of a cone is pi r l. Okay, good to know. Now I hope you guys know what is the shape of a cone. The shape of a cone is something like this, right? This is a cone. I think you guys have had ice cream in your life, so you guys should know the shape of a cone. A sphere is just a ball. It's something round. That will be a sphere, something round. Now a solid cone, which means it is closed at the bottom, has a radius of y, so the radius here, the value of r is y. And the slant height of the cone is 25% larger than the radius of the cone. The slant height L is this one. We do know it is 25% larger, so pretty easy. That should be 1.25 times the value of y. I hope you guys know how to do this, right? Well, if you guys don't know, no big deal. We can try it together. It is a simple explanation. So the radius, we know it is y. The slant height we don't know. But we're trying to find this one. So something we know is that we can always use the logic of initially, we always think of the initial value as 100%. Now we do know that this is 25% larger, so if you have to increase the size by 25%, so 100% plus 25% will be 125%. Okay, by using ratio, we understand that if 100% means y, 125% will means 1.25y. How do we do this? By using ratio. So let's do this. 100% is equal to y. So what is 1%? You would say it will be y over 100%. 100, right? Divide by 100 on both sides. Now we need to find 125%. It will be, so if 1% is this much, 125 will be this much times 125. So by doing this, you will have 1.25 y for the value of L. So this is how we usually derive this, but again, with experience, you can just do this in your head and have the value right away. Now, a solid sphere has a radius r. Okay, the radius is r for the sphere. Now, the surface area of the sphere is equal to the total surface area of the cone. So pretty easy. Let's do this one by one. So how would you find the surface area of the sphere? As you can see, it is given to you by this. So it will be 4 pi. The radius is r squared. It is equal to the total surface area of the cone. Now the cone is comprised of two surface area. How? We have the curved surface and the base surface. Because it is a solid, it is closed, so we also have to count the base surface. The base is just a circle. It will be pi r squared. Pi r squared will be y squared, right? And then for the curved surface will be pi r l. Pi r is the radius, y, l is 1.25 y, as we have seen in the question, right? So we just have to simplify now. So as you can see, we have pi everywhere. They will cancel out, right? Okay, we have 4r squared is equal to y squared plus 1.25 y squared. So 4r squared is equal to, this is obviously 1, so 1 plus 1.25 is 2.25 y squared. Now we can always apply something here on both sides. Well, let me make your life easier. What is this one? What is 2.25? 2.25 is also what? 225 divided by 100. You agree? Fair enough, right? Now, what else do we know? Let me obviously simplify this further. So on this side we have 4r squared. Here we have 225 over 100 y squared. Now we're trying to find the value of just the value of y. We have to send everything to the other side. Let's see what happens. You will have y squared is equal to 4 times 100, because you have to cross multiply, times 100. That will be r squared over here, divided by 225. So finally, we understand that. Let me simplify this because it might go for too long and it might be complicated for everyone. So let's make it simple. So divide by 25 or 5. Why not 5? Let's begin with 5. You will have 20. Divide by 5. You will have 4 here, and here you have 2. That'll be 45. Divide by 5 again. You will have 4 here. You will have 9. You agree? So you will have y squared is equal to 4 times 4, which is 16, r squared over 9. This is y squared. Obviously, we are trying to find y. Y will be square root of 16 over 9 r squared. So that will be 4 over 3 times r. This is shown as required. Again, step by step, I was just trying to break it down as simple as possible to see where these are coming from. Now let's move on to part B of your question. So here we have to find what? The volume of the cone. We do know that the volume is given to you by the formula 1/3 pi r squared h. Now something we haven't seen yet is that h. Obviously we have to find the h. Now from the diagram above, we do know that the cone is of this shape, right? Something like that. And the radius is something over here, and that will be called y as a radius. The slant height, as we have seen, it is 1.25y. Now if you want this to express this as fraction, it is simply 5 over 4y, right? Now what is the height? So we have to find the height. The height is this value over here, the perpendicular height h. This is 90, obviously. So how would you find this? Obviously, we will use the Pythagoras theorem. But first thing first, we do know that from part A, y is given to you 4 over 3. Something we know from part A, right? We have shown this. Now we have to find the value of h. So as you can see here, we have a right angle triangle. We do know what? We know that if you take this side square is supposed to give you this side square by the Pythagoras theorem. So h squared plus y squared have to give you 5 over 4y squared. Right. From here we can simplify. Where h squared have to be 5 over 4 y squared minus y squared. What is y squared? It is 1y squared. Now h squared is equal to, simplify, 25 over 16. That will be y squared minus 1y squared. H squared again, obviously 1 is 16 over 16. 25 minus 16. 25 minus 16, that should give you 9. So check, right? So you have 9 over 16 y squared. And h will have to be square root of that. That will be 3 over 4y. Now let's move on. So V, volume, is equal to 1/3 pi r squared. R is y squared, right? Y squared. H is 3 over 4y, as we have seen over here. Now we just have to simplify. Obviously this and this will cancel out for now. V will be pi. Y squared will be what? So square of that will be 16 over 9 r squared. And then here we have 1 over 4 y will be 4, y is 4 over 3. All right, here. Simplify. This and this will cancel out. And the rest will be 16. 9 times 3 will be 27. And here we have pi. And here we have r times r squared. That should be r cubed. So V will be this value for your volume in terms of R, as you can see for this question part B. So this was the last question of this paper. I hope it was somewhat helpful. If you guys have any questions, let me know in the comments below. Otherwise, I'll see you guys soon.